Hello, darlings, and welcome to the Pink Room. Hello, my darlings. I'm Ronnie, and welcome back to VeronicaTot Comics, where comics, or a glamour, share the same long box. Because comics deserve Couture too. Today we're talking about Veronica Lodge, Riverdale royalty, fashion icon, best friend, rival, occasional disaster, and a character who has remained unmistakably herself for more than 8 decades. This is not going to be a dry issue history lesson. We will touch on history because it matters. But I'm more interested in the woman of the center of it. What her glamour communicates. Why her confidence is so powerful. Why her flaws make her better. And why the name Veronica became part of not only identity. So pour yourself something lovely. So on to the pink round. Let's begin where Veronica began. Veronica Lodge first appeared in Pep Comics, November 26, 1942. And Riverdale was never quite the same again. Before Veronica, Archie already had Betty. Sweet, capable, familiar, and right there next door. Then Veronica arrived from outside that comfortable little world, bringing wealth, sophistication, and a completely different kind of energy. Archie did not simply get another romantic interest. Riverdale got contrast. Betty represented the girl you already knew. Veronica represented the girl everybody noticed when she entered the room. And Veronica did not arrive asking whether she was too much. She arrived already certain that Riverdale would make room for her. That certainly is the foundation of the character. Yes, the money helped. Veronica is the daughter of Hiram Lodge, lives in a mansion, and can turn an ordinary afternoon into an international shopping trip. But money alone is not charisma. Plenty of wealthy characters have come and gone. Veronica lasted because she had presence. She wanted Archie, and she said so. She wanted the best seat, the best dress, and the last word. She could be charming one moment and infuriating the next, but she was never invisible. That is what made her useful to the stories, and what made her unforgettable. One of my favorite ways to watch Veronica evolve is through covers. The hairstyles change, the silhouettes change, hemlines rise and fall, swimsuits, evening gowns, mod fashion, disco glamour, preppy looks, power dressing. Veronica moves through every decade as though it was designed specifically for her, or her posture barely changes. Chin is up, the expression is composed. He knew it was people are looking at, and she is perfectly comfortable with it. Sometimes people treat fashion in comics as it is merely description. But comics are a visual medium. Clothing tells us who a character believes she or he is before she or he says a single word. Veronica's wardrobe communicates taste, privilege, ambition, control, and sometimes glorious success. A gown can tell you that she plans to own the room. A perfectly coordinated casual outfit tells you that even her version of effortless required effort. And I love that. There is nothing wrong with caring about presentation. There is nothing shallow about enjoying beauty. Veronica understands that how you present yourself can be part of how you author yourself. Her glamour was not a disguise. It was a declaration. She was saying, I'm here. I know who I am. You may look. That message reached far beyond Riverdale. Now let's be honest with each other. Veronica can be spoiled, she can be jealous, competitive, demanding, impatient, and completely out of touch. She has used her money to get her way. She has treated Archie like a prize. She has occasionally behaved as if the entire town was her extension of Lodge Manor. And I would not erase any of that. Those flaws are not a failure of the character. the glamour character. Too often a confident woman is only considered likable after the story softens her, humbles her, or teaches her to take up less space. Veronica has certainly learned lessons over the years, but she always returns with personality intact. She can be wrong without becoming weak. She can apologize without surrendering her identity. She can be generous without pretending that she no longer enjoys luxury. That matters. Confidence in women is frequently rewritten as vanity by people who find modesty easier to admire than self-possession. Veronica forces the reader to sit in difference. Is she vain sometimes? Absolutely. Is she also brave, loyal, resourceful, funny, and capable of genuine kindness? Absolutely. The best Veronica stories allow both things to be true. Her money may isolate her from ordinary problems, but her heart keeps pulling her back toward ordinary people. She chooses Riverdale. She chooses her friends again and again. She chooses to belong to a community she could easily look down upon. The contradiction is far more interesting than a perfectly behaved rich girl could ever be. Of course, she cannot talk about Veronica for long without talking about Betty. For decades, the shorthand has been simple. Betty versus Veronica. The wholesome blonde against the glamorous brunette. The girl next door against the socialite. Two women competing for Archie Andrews. That triangle is one of the most durable engines in comics. But it is not the whole relationship. Betty and Veronica are not virtue and vice. There are two different kinds of female power. Betty is capable, practical, warm, persistent. Veronica's polished, assertive, socially fearless, and ambitious. Each woman has qualities the other admires, and each has the ability to drive the other absolutely crazy. That's why the friendship works.
And a small selection of friendships and covers.
They compete, yes. Sometimes the stories lean much too hard on that competition, but they also travel together, scheme together, rescue one another, forgive one another, and share the history that Archie himself often seems too distracted to understand. The covers may sell the rivalry, but the friendship gives the rivalry meaning. If Veronica didn't care about Betty, there would be no emotional risk. And if Betty did not see something worth loving in Veronica, their friendship would not have survived 8 years of stolen dates and slammed doors. The older I get, the less interested I am in asking who should Archie choose. The more interesting question is, why did Betty and Veronica continue to choose each other? Veronica began as part of Archie's world, but she did not remain a supporting character. She shared the spotlight in Betty and Veronica, starting countless stories in Digest, and in 1989 finally received her own ongoing series. That sole title ran for 210 issues through 2011. Think about what that means. A character who could have remained young queen of a romantic triangle proved that she could carry adventures, comedy, family stories, fashion stories, travel stories, and an entire supporting cast under her own name. She became the destination. And this is where looking at covers really pays off. You can watch Archie's artists experiment with the same essential character across decades. Sometimes Veronica is a glamorous socialite. Sometimes she's a frustrated teenager. Sometimes she is the smartest person in the room. Sometimes she is about to make a spectacular mistake. But she always reads as Veronica, the visual consistency. Dark hair, poised silhouette, direct expression. It's not stagnation, it is iconography. You know her before you read the logo. The real test of an icon is whether the character can survive reinvention. Veronica has moved through traditional gag comics, modern relationships, and drama, television crossovers, alternate realities, and horror without losing the quality that makes her recognizable. In the modern Betty and Veronica, relaunched by Andrews, The fashion and rivalry became sleeker, sharper, and more cinematic. But the dynamic was still unmistakable. Then Archie horror gave us Veronica. Turning Veronica into a vampire sounds like a wild genre. But it works because the original character is strong enough to survive the transformation. The elegance becomes gothic. The confidence becomes dangerous. The appetite for the finer things become an appetite of a very different kind. Even when the world changes around, Veronica still commands the frame. That is the secret to her longevity. She is specific enough to be recognizable and flexible enough to be reinvented. Every generation can give Veronica a new wardrobe, a new tone, even a new universe. But nobody has to explain why she belongs there. She simply walks in, and the story makes room. And this is part of the story that matters most to me. As I said at the beginning, my favorite Archie character has always been Jughead. Always has been. But Veronica influenced how I want to move through the world. I did not want her money. I want her confidence. I want the way she walked into a room, she belonged there. I wanted her ease with glamour. Her love of beautiful things. And her refusal to apologize for being noticeable. I was not just reading Veronica Lodge in a way, I was studying her. She showed me that comics and couture were never opposites. That femininity did not make a comic them less serious. The presentation did not have to be a disguise. It could be authorship. You could not know the history. You could know the history. You could care about the creators. You could love the paper, the art, the hunt, and the strange little details those collectors obsess over. And you could still arrive with style. VeronicaTot Comics, the pink from the glamour. The idea that comics deserve couture too. None of that came from one fictional character. But Veronica Lodge gave me language for it. She gave me the permission to combine things people sometimes insist must remain separate. Intelligence and beauty, collecting and presentation, sincerity and spectacle. Comics ain't glamour. So no, I did not call myself VeronicaTot Comics by accident. The name is not about pretending to be Veronica Lodge. It's about recognizing what she represented to me. Not perfection, not wealth, her mission. Her mission to be visible. Her mission to enjoy beautiful things without defending them. Her mission to be confident before everyone else has agreed that you've earned it. That is the Veronica I carried with me. She showed me that comics and couture were never opposites. That femininity did not make a comic fan less serious. The presentation did not have to be a disguise. It could be authorship. You can know the history, you could care about the creators. You could love the paper, the art, the hunt, those strange little details that us collectors obsess over. And you could still arrive with style. VeronicaTot Comics, the pink ruin, the glamour, the idea that comics deserve couture too. None of that came from one fictional character. But Veronica Lodge gave me a language for it. She gave me permission to combine things people sometimes insist must remain separate. Intelligence and beauty. Collecting and presentation. Sincerity and spectacle. Comics and glamour. So no, I didn't call myself VeronicaTot Comics by accident. The name is not about pretending to be Veronica Lodge. It's about recognizing what she represents to me. Not perfection, not wealth, permission. Permission to be visible. Permission to enjoy beautiful things without defending them. Permission to be confident before everyone else has agreed that you've earned it. That is the Veronica I carried with me. And that is why, more than 8 years after she first arrived in Riverdale, I think she still matters. Veronica Lodge can be spoiled. She can be tyrannic. She can be competitive. Impossible and completely convinced that the world should rearrange itself around her schedule. She's also glamorous, loyal, adaptable, funny, and gloriously self-possessed. She did not become an icon because she was flawless. She became an icon because she was impossible to overlook. Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite Veronica Lodge cover? Or era? And are you Team Betty or Team Veronica? Are you with me over at the chocolate shop with Jughead as stack hamburgers? If you enjoy this, look at Riverdale's original comic book. Riverdale's original comic book, It Girl. Please like the video, subscribe to VeronicaTot Comics, and join me again in the pink room. Until next time, my darlings, know who you are, dress for the interests you deserve, and never be afraid to make the room for you.